This is Frank Essom, Chairman and CEO of FY Investment Group and your host of Washington Current Review, where we interview leading voices from business and politics that impact you, the viewer. Today we are fortunate enough to have a guest who's wonderful, who's great. He's going to tell you all about healthcare and the hospital care, Dev Raheja. Welcome to our show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming. Tell me a little bit about you. I know you wrote this book, and I want audience to know that he wrote this book, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. So tell me a little bit about yourself, and also you were an aerospace consultant. How did you get into the healthcare business and hospital business? That's the two different things.
Yes, very, very different. I was always interested in helping those who cannot help themselves.
So you want to become a voice for those who are voiceless?
Yes, right. And safety is one way to get their voice, and I can make a difference. In fact, my passion is so much, I went to Nepal and India to help orphanages to be on their own. The children can be on their own.
It's very nice of you.
So anyway, safety, I was in aerospace. One of the family friends, 37 years old, she was working in Navy. She had a small brain tumor. She did not know. She went to the hospital for MRI. Their MRI equipment was not working accurately.
And when was this?
This was about 6 years ago.
Okay, so that wasn't that too long ago.
No.
So that changed your life?
Yes.
Oh, very well. Very
Yes.
good. And it's for better.
Much better.
Yeah.
She convinced me that I need to help hospitals instead of these aerospace companies.
Okay, so that's what got you there.
Yes, they got too many people like me. Hospital, no one has no one.
That's right.
So I took a course at Johns Hopkins University to get familiar with the hospitals.
Okay.
I got to know the senior vice president of patient safety quite nicely, and then I already know safety business. I applied to the hospitals. I wrote the book.
That's how you got involved.
Yes.
So what is your message? Seems to be that hospitals are becoming more and more unsafe. Why is it so? Why is it they're unsafe?
Well,
explain to me a little bit.
Yes. Recently, there was a Senate hearing, and the president of the National Patient Safety Organization, it's called National Patient Safety Foundation.
Right.
She said more than 100,000 people are getting killed every day from medical mistakes. Every day. It's same as 2 jumbo jets crashing every day.
Oh my goodness! And this is all kinds of mistakes?
Yes, all kinds of mistakes in hospitals.
So this is a human mistakes, or this is the machine who's making a mistake? They're both.
It's a both human as well as technology as well as information systems.
Wow.
All of those things together, put together, and basically she put the numbers to 400,000 people dying every year.
And that includes even the doctors who are making mistakes too. Is that what you're saying?
Everyone, doctors, nurses, yes. 400,000 a year.
Oh my goodness, that's a large number.
This number was only 100,000 a year in 1999 when Institute of Medicine wrote the report. So it has quadrupled.
My goodness, it should really be reduced rather than increased.
Increased rapidly, and it's increasing every year.
So what kind of technology hazards are harming patients? Tell me a little bit. You said technology also plays a very important role in curing the disease and fighting against the disease also. So,
right.
But the technology has also a dark
side.
Dark side of that, which is what. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes. Number one dark side is too much exposure to radiation.
Too much exposure. So you saying the doctors say, go get an MRI.
Yes.
Do this thing. They don't think it twice.
No, right. And this radiation accumulates in the body. So the more radiation you get, the more cancer you can get.
Yeah, for example, if you have a problem, that's the only way to find out is to do a body scan and the whole body scan, and also do MRI. And also it has a little bit of a problem in terms of the radiations, but also prevents the disease, the controlling the disease also.
It has both sides, dark side as well as bright side. But the dark side is too much X-rays, too much radiation.
So what would you do to reduce that?
Okay. Let me give one more example of this harm done by technology. Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles, they had radiologists was giving 8 times more radiation to the patient, cancer patient.
Oh my goodness.
He forgot to keep it down to chest level radiation. For 6 months.
So that's a human mistake.
But I'm telling you, it's technology mistake. I can prove that. And for 6 months, all the patients got 8 times more radiation. All the patients. And many lost their hair. That's how they found out that they got over-radiated, and 37% are going to die.
Oh my goodness. But there's no regulations for all these things?
Yes, there are regulations.
But the people don't follow the regulations, rules and regulations.
Well, people don't, sometimes they don't follow, sometimes they forget to follow. Like there got too many pressures going,
Too many things go on.
That's why he forgot to turn it down. Now, the reason I'm saying is a technology problem, because they could have told the equipment supplier, can you put 2 lines of software so that equipment automatically turns down.
That's also true, Steve. You're right.
Just like our laptop, you
Sure.
don't use for 10 minutes, it automatically goes to sleep mode.
That's also true.
So it's a technology issue.
So have you talked to the hospitals and so what did they say?
Well,
What's your advice to them?
I gave them this advice. Nobody did anything. And because they say it's not our job to talk to supplier, so everyone wants to do their job. They don't want to do what's right for the patient.
Wow.
And so that's the problem. And the other issues in technology are pacemakers. Like people wear pacemakers. One person went to a department store. He died because the magnetic device in the the cashier reacted with the software in the pacemaker, and suddenly he started to breathe too rapidly. He died. Things like that happening a lot. Technology hazard, and a lot of these new medical devices have poorly designed software. They hurt patients too much. We got 3 recalls per day for medical devices for defects in the device technology.
Oh my goodness. So is there any hope? Is there any brighter horizon to turn this all around?
Well, I see very little hope.
You say, so you're not very optimistic.
No, I can tell you the reasons. The reasons is the systems have become too big, too complex. No one is in charge. And so everyone wants to do their job right, and a system doesn't work that way. A system has to make sure everyone just does the job right at the same time.
But everyone is not contributing to make sure that they do their job properly.
Yes. And second thing is, there's a quality guru who helped Japan become #1 in quality. His name is Dr. Deming. He lived in Washington himself.
And what does he do now?
He died at 94, long time back. But he made a simple, profound knowledge theory. His theory was that 85% problems are system-oriented. The procedures are not designed properly, policies are not designed properly. That's why people make mistakes. So hospitals should be blaming themselves, not the people, doctors and nurses who make mistakes. 85% of the time, that's the case. And just like I talked about MRI example, it's the MRI design was bad. It's not that, don't blame the technician for forgetting.
So you don't see there's too much hope. You suggested in your book, as I understand, that they should do a top-level systems engineering.
Yes.
So that's very important in any kind of a technology,
Yes.
including the healthcare business and hospital business. So what is that for a layman? How do you explain to systems engineering?
Okay. For layman, the definition is that system has to be integrating people, facilities, procedures,
all of them,
technologies,
you're right.
information systems, doctor behavior, nurse behavior, facilities like escalator. Everyone has to work right for system to work right. Now, nobody's thinking about the whole thing.
They're looking. This is a piecemeal solution.
Everyone is looking at piecemeal
solution.
Yes.
There's no top-level systems engineering approach, end-to-end approach.
Right, end-to-end approach. No one is responsible. No one is doing it either.
That's a good point you made. Even hospital cannot do that. They're not responsible for that. What about in a government entity? Wouldn't they should be responsible for doing something like that?
Well, government is making standards and rules, and a lot of audits they do. But their system is looking at individual pieces rather than the whole system, and same problem occurs there also. Everyone is looking at individual pieces. Recently, I was at a government meeting, and they bragged about how much improvement they made in reducing infection.
So did you speak up, sir? Did you speak up in that meeting and saying that that's not a really true statement?
Yes, I spoke up, and I said, you guys are bragging so much, but there are number of deaths are going up and up and up each year, multiplying, and how can you brag about this? They had no response. In fact, I told them, you guys are using outdated techniques. Even government is recommending outdated techniques for preventing harm, and nobody had any answer for that. So whole system is so fragmented
And broken.
so there's very little hope of doing anything right. And this was all came up at the Senate hearing, and plus I spoke up at this government meeting.
Okay. Is there a lot of other people who share with your views?
Right now, I am the only one.
You're the only advocate of this thing?
Yes, because nobody in healthcare knows aerospace safety.
Yeah, they don't. Aerospace safety plays a very important role.
And aerospace safety is very highly advanced.
Yes, it is.
And so hospitals are about 30 years behind in using this technology. And so that's what I'm recommending in putting in my book.
So this is the book you wrote.
Yes.
It's called Safer Hospital Care. So what's the message of this book to the audience?
Yeah, there are three big messages. Number one is that hospitals must take responsibility for 85% problems, and instead they are blaming hospital nurses and doctors. They should be blaming themselves. They should understand why these unsafe things happen, such as, for example, people are indifferent to other people. And they try to hide the problems because they don't have time to report them, and then they everyone likes to have their own procedure, and they stick to that because it's quick for them, but it affects others. Okay, that's number one message. The management must understand why the unsafe things.
So if they do understand the problems, how are they going to prevent that to happen?
Okay. And that's the second message.
Okay, so the second message is prevention.
To prevent the problem before it happens.
That's a very well said.
And to do that, they have to do system as a whole, and look at the whole system, and use the risk analysis tools recommended by the government. But the government tools are recommendations, so not every hospital uses them, and they don't use them properly, even if they use them, because government doesn't force them to use any particular way. They say these are suggestions, and so that's all they mean. And the third message is that you have to stop using outdated quality improvement tools, very slow, one at a time.
Give me some examples, sir.
Yeah, okay, for example, infections.
Infection.
Yes. They collect data before they do anything. It takes a year to collect data. And they use a program called Six Sigma program.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yes, it takes 10 years to implement this 6 years.
So that's a long time.
So during 10 years, all are dying.
Oh, that's just
So they have to stop using these outdated techniques, and there are new techniques called failure mode and effects analysis.
Six Sigma was very much popular several years ago in the aerospace safety.
Yes, right. But in hospitals, it's very popular now.
Okay, so they're basically taking outdated technology and embracing that.
Yes,
and
right.
that's not what they should be doing.
Yes.
So why are they so much behind in terms of the embracing the new concept and new technology, as far as the safety is concerned?
Yes. Mainly, system is fragmented. Doctors are so much involved in information technology, they don't have time to listen to the patients. They don't discuss alternate technologies. I'll give you my own example.
Sure, please do so.
I had fracture in the back, long time back.
Okay.
And my spine is crooked.
Okay.
I get pain every 30 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
And I couldn't tolerate the pain. Went to doctors. I talked to the best hospitals I could find. All said, you have to do surgery. And I wanted to discuss alternates. They don't want to discuss because that's the only thing they know to fix by surgery.
Because if they're a surgeon, that's what they want you to do.
That's what they want you to do, right?
Surgery, right?
You understood right, exactly. If
Why would they anything other than that?
So they are looking from their point of view, not from patient's point of view. So I said, I'm not going to ignore. I'm going to ignore you all. I'm going to find my own solution.
So what did you find?
So I read a book on from a New York school medicine doctor.
Yeah.
He said most of the back pains are in your head, not in the back.
Well, that's the one way
And
to
you
figure it out.
can block them out.
And how do you block something out
Okay.
from your head?
Okay, I didn't believe him.
Yeah. So what did you do?
So I was learning but I was keeping my mind open.
Sure.
So I was learning meditation,
Okay.
like sitting in the chair because I couldn't sit on the floor. My instructor said, sit down like everyone on the floor. And I said, no, I cannot do that. Well, he forced me to sit down. Just said 1 minute. Next week, 2 minutes. Next week, 3 minutes. By the time I reached 7th week, I was totally free of the back pain for 20 years.
And what happened in order for you to get the freedom from the pain? What did you do?
Because
Meditation?
during meditation, I block out the pain.
Oh, well,
And
you
it-
have to believe in it then.
And then I learned that meditation is 24-hour thing. That means you have to be aware of this meditation 24 hours. So I block my pain all 24 hours.
So are you suggesting to the people over here that if you meditate and if you take the full responsibility on your shoulder for your own deeds, in this case, by doing a medication and so on and so forth, you can cure this thing?
You may be able to. Not everyone cannot cure, because meditation, not everyone can learn properly. So, but if you learn properly, you can. Not every back pain might be cured that way, but most of them will be. According to this doctor, 70% people can cure
70% of the doctors can cure
without
going through the surgical
Right,
process,
right.
just by meditating.
meditating.
Well, you're going to have to teach me that part.
Okay, I'll be very glad to. I'll give you another example. 20 years back, I was in Nepal. I was helping these school teacher
Sure.
who was rehabilitating children who were forced into prostitution. But I went to the mountains. While coming down the mountains, these are steep mountains.
Yes.
I broke my cartilage.
Oh my goodness. And that was 20 years ago?
That was 20 years ago.
Okay, then what do you do?
Everyone, again, I went to the doctor. You got to do surgery, no other choice. And I said, can I try acupuncture? And they said it won't work. But I tried anyway. It worked. Acupuncture. So
That's the one with the needles.
needles, right?
And there are specialists in this country to do acupuncture.
Oh yeah, plenty of specialists.
Yeah, and they're not that painful at all.
No, it's a very little, hardly any pain.
You're absolutely right. I have tried myself the acupuncture. It wasn't that bad.
No, it's not bad at all. And so that's the third. So the third message is, again, let me repeat, that they need to do risk analysis tool to know the problems in advance and prevent them before the problem happens. There's a famous saying by Oppenheimer. He said, a genius is one who has answers before the question.
Answer before the question.
And that's what risk analysis tools do.
Okay.
They fix the problem before it happens, before any question arises.
Have you talked to the people in the government in terms of the people who manages the hospitals in the federal government and the state government?
Yeah, this meeting I attended, that was federal government.
Okay.
Made up of CMS and
The one in Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Right.
Yes, that was. And I'm serving on the Johns Hopkins Patient Advisory Council also.
And thank you very much for your contribution to the humanity to save the thousands of the lives. Obviously, your idea of having a systems engineering approach, having somebody on the top who can manage all these things, because they have a piecemeal solution rather than total system engineering approach in terms of the safety, is a good idea, is admirable, and something you should be proud of that. And thank you very much for coming to our show. We appreciated that very, very much.
My pleasure.
And
Thank
please
you.
continue on what you're doing to serve our community and as well as our country and humanity.
Yes, I will. I'm going to the hospitals to teach this all the time.
Okay, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
So this is Frank Islam wishing you great